The whole flat Earth is one of those. It's like one of those safe ones where it's so stupid that you can just laugh and enjoy it. No one's getting hurt.
Right up until you fuck up this kid.
Until that happens, right?
No.
This is and obviously, and the thing with it is like the people that are into this to this degree, it's like all you have to do is, let's say you wanted to run a fucking documentary on like the assholes that believe Sandy Hook was staged, and you'd be talking to the same people. But the only difference is in this documentary, you're asking them about this one, as opposed to like which ethnic group you think is behind.
Well, I mean, I can zero in
controlling
on it.
The banks.
I can zoom in on it
You
even
know?
further. This is the same group that made sure that kid didn't get his vaccines.
Of course, exactly, right.
And that's where the oh man, this is hilarious turns from that into like no wait, this is actually not as hilarious because it's about eroding faith in public institution and the rule of science
and the
blah,
fact
blah,
that
blah,
if you
all that
and,
shit.
and there are
boy, we are old, aren't we?
there are living real conspiracies that haven't happened, and they do exist, and things.
I know, I've been part of some of them.
But the fact
I was there.
But nonetheless, you know, you get this thing where it's like, no, but if I believe in it's I believe in all of them. I'm anti-authoritarian in general. It's fun to think that the unknown in the shadows, no matter how much light is in the room, there remains a bit inside there that we'll never know, and it's a part of your personality, and you'll never want to admit that part of it, right? So you get to that side of things, right? And you get to the side where you get this is getting back into the fun of it almost, where like you have the Mark Sargent or this other guy that's a reasonable sounding dude that's like running the kind of group or the panel, and when you start again taking questions or whatever, and you're like, how do these people react when someone gets up and goes, well, you know, I mean, we gotta get to the root problem with this flat Earth conspiracy theory and whatnot, and you're just kind of waiting to see as everyone is like, yeah, and you're waiting to see
where's the finger gun gonna point?
Where's he gonna point, right? And like, are you?
Who made the Earth flat?
Are we gonna get a reference to a Zog machine anytime soon? Like, what are we doing here? You know, and you're waiting to see what is the reaction of the reasonable guy who has to sit there and smile while this one goes, hey, but we can all admit, the fucking Jews, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone's got
made the Earth flat.
Like, so what are we gonna do about? I mean, let's take this plan to the next phase.
Now let's
right?
say you're just into flat Earth, but you're not into, or in fact made extraordinarily uncomfortable with what like was just said. What is your like? What
do you? What's
and that's the point. And that's the point where you go. Why is it that everybody in my gang seems like an asshole?
Well, what's
up with that?
That's actually the point where you go. Is it? You do the cost benefit analysis and you go, is it worth it for me to ostracize this believer if I don't embrace the stupidity that he's putting out? Because I kind of need the numbers. So you might say something like, hey,
well, that's not really important right now. We need to focus on the science.
Yeah. But I hear you.
It's like, no, I don't.
You know, and it's like, this is where you go, oh, you're gonna
dare you to make that the podcast.
Yeah, you're gonna, I hear you. Yeah.
No, not that one.
Oh yeah. Okay. Right. You're going to embrace the myth.
Don't make that the podcast title.
Right, and this is where, and you get into the like some of the Alex Jones shit where it's just like, are you gonna like embrace the fact that you're possibly dealing with mental illness inside of who you're talking to here, or are you gonna just skate and pretend that it's not a part of what you're inside?
We're all trying to be inclusive and we're all trying to be positive. So when the person says the crazy at you, you don't want to make them feel hurt. So you say something like, I hear you. I know a person who talks like this. I hear you, and I feel you.
I feel your feelings deeply.
And I feel you are seen, and you have value. But we're gonna move on. And it's like,
thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. And it's like, maybe I'm old-fashioned because I'm old now. But I remember showing my dad a bunch of conspiracy theory shit back in the day when I was like 13, 14. And he went, Pat, that's fucking stupid. Cured me of that shit in a second.
Now, the second thing that's worth bringing
Sometimes people just need that.
is someone else in the midst of this fun journey goes up at a NASA conference or like a bar like meeting or whatever, and is kind of talking about like, he's like, I'm gonna talk to y'all about flat Earth for a minute, and everyone's like, bah, we work for NASA. And you know, and he's like, now I know, right? But here's the thing, a lot of these people are the types of people that actually have curious minds that would become scientists if they were on the right path.
Yeah.
But at some point they got stuck somewhere and we kind of lost them. But that curious mind means that like they would have been the type of person that is like you or me that makes it into this field and could do well because of that curiosity. So, and you go, that's true. You're lost in the weeds because of other mind goblins. I don't know, whatever it is.
I'm going to put out a wild ass theory about the world that may or may not be appealing. I believe that the internet democratized thought and speech, and I think everybody can agree on this. However, it also dramatically lessens the individual worth of any particular individual in their collective society because of all the modern shit is like making you feel more and more and more like just another person because you get to see how many other people there are, right? Your insular community turns into a big city, turns into a giant nation, turns into the infinite amount of people out there, which in the modern world has led to ennui or the lack of place in society, right? If you know about Durkheim's ennui back in the 1800s, like, ennui is basically, I feel at odds with my society, I don't have a place. The internet also democratized cults. And now it's really easy to have a really easy cult. And the cult can be about anything. And all the cult has to offer is a group in which you belong. No matter how fucking stupid, insular, or non-harmful, whatever the fuck it actually is. And you get these people that could have become scientists because they're smart, but they feel like they have no place in the world, and for whatever reason they didn't go down that way, and they find a group that embraces them with open arms and says, hey, you smart guy, we need smart people like you to fight the good fight for the flat Earth. And the reason I bring this up in regards to flat Earth is because I see flat Earth as a direct response to the loss of dignity that the Earth has suffered in the modern era. Even in our lifetimes, we have seen the Earth go from special to less special. And people who are older have seen the Earth go from the actual center, like the solar system as like the center, to like some fringe backwoods fuck-ass solar system that doesn't matter.
I think that's a connection that's interesting, but not necessarily locked in. I'm not sold yet. I know that NASA and space exploration has been something they've been trying to boost and make important again because it's become super unimportant for the beginning of our lives. Everything cool happened just before we were born.
It's so stupid, but I like lament not being old enough to see the moon landing because I feel like it would have changed my entire perspective.
Everyone who talks about it seems to be...
It's the biggest thing that has ever happened.
And it was like 6 hours of uninterrupted television. Of the
most objectively boring shit that you could ever watch,
that
right?
Everybody tuned in for, right? And it was a global event, in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And
well, actually, it was a.
Well, that's what.
That's
the burp. Whereas here, we're tuning into fun. Like we're now getting back to tuning into fun videos of our cool Canadian space dad playing with like water in the ISS and stuff, and we're like, that's fun. Wow.
Chris Hadfield is a good goddamn role model Canada man with a mustache.
But like we otherwise didn't have anything definitive and like shocking to bring you
right when we were born. It was right after they stopped going to the moon.
They just stopped.
And it's like, oh, that's a bummer.
Right. So there's that. There's the fact that the budget's been cut and all that shit and so on and so forth. You know. So yes, there's a depreciation for that. Would that link directly to things like flat Earth coming out and being propagated? I don't necessarily think so. I kind of just think it's like it takes one person's maximum crazy, and then you just need to bounce it off the walls of other people that are looking for a thing to find to take issue with. And so I got into a talk. We got into a talk about this after we finished watching it. But I was like, think about chemtrails, right?
I'm thinking about them.
Nobody
You didn't have to tell me
looked
to.
up about. No one had any thoughts about the fucking condensation trails in the sky that planes made,
Right.
until somebody went, I think something's
I bet
going
that's
on
poison.
there, right? And something that it's invisible to you suddenly becomes visible. And because there's no clear, automatic, known explanation for why that exists, now it goes into the realm of the unknown, which is where the poison exists.
Yes.
Because the realm of the unknown is where all my fun.
That's how your centipedes get in your cans.
Yeah, and you don't acknowledge the part that you're enjoying this part of it. You don't
Because you
don't
feel
acknowledge
like you're on the cusp of finding out the biggest secret in the world.
and only me.
Only me.
I'm the only one.
I'm gonna be the one.
I caught on to it. They didn't know. Sheeple don't know.
You're all stupid. I'm a genius. I'm gonna save the world from chemtrails.
And and then it's too late when you're fucking sitting there and AJ Styles gets called out live on camera. And then he has to say, I just think there's some questions. If you look into it.
I think that is absolutely what you were talking about, but combined, like mine is the setup and yours is the reality. Like I think there is a huge amount of people in history, like say take all them ancient philosopher guys that were like, all them Greek guys were like, gods are stupid and fate is dumb, right? But they still got to live in a world in which the earth was the center of the universe, in which humans occupied a dominant, like, cultural and spiritual fucking force in the universe, right? But they were all, scientists and whatnot, right? We have people today that it's like religion doesn't do it for them, but they still want to feel important.
Yes.
And we're not. Not only are people not important, you're not important.
Yes.
No, nothing's important.
Yes.
And whereas I revel in the freedom that complete fucking insignificance gives me, other people find that uncomfortable.
And now you got to find the corner of society that hasn't been explained or explored and point to it and go, hey, what's that about, right? So, I mean, whether it's fucking sewer people or like what, like, just
sewer people. Yeah.
What I used at the time was like, hey, we just kind of see rainbows and we don't think about them too much, and we generally say, oh yeah, when you spray some mist into the air, it creates
it's kind
one.
of a rainbow.
But like, do you think it's possible that maybe there's something more to that, right? Maybe there's something to the like, are we being programmed to see something that reinforces some sort of I don't know. What's up with that?
Just asking questions.
We're just asking questions, right? Whatever the fuck it is, where you just don't have the knowledge to understand, right?
Yeah.
You're not scientifically literate, so you're not going to go to the fullest end to understand exactly what's happening. So it's gonna remain in the realm of the unknown to you.
And
it's gonna get into that appealing place where it feels good to uncover and crack this mystery. And
there's a fucking really dark, like, gallows humor, like, event that occurred where somebody dragged up this post of somebody explaining how a neighbor's child had died merely days after getting a vaccine, and how sad it was that the vaccine magnetized them so that the car hit them.
Right, exactly.
Right, just like...
So this is
wow.
So this is where you get into the thing where you'll go, okay, person who believes that is arguing for this flat Earth, right? Is how high is the dome, right?
It's got to be really high,
right? Like, and some people are arguing about whether or not the dome exists or what. Like, you can get into all of that talk, but what's more interesting and revealing is person who believes this. You happen to refute what people are pointing out as like evidence and saying, no, I believe what I believe, and I'm not going to trust the evidence you're giving me because I don't.
The sources, from biased sources, man.
The sources are compromised, right?
Yeah.
It's like, got it, okay. But you also happen to refute every single argument for vaccinations, and you happen to also refute every single argument for contrails, and you happen to refute every single argument for
the fact that humans are not alien seeds,
or that Stanley Kubrick didn't film a moon landing set. And every single one of these things comes down the line, and you are always defaulting to the side of
the popular thing must be fake.
The mystery is where it's at.
Yeah.
And doesn't that pattern of like
It looks like you're addicted to mystery.
And you don't even see that, because if we stay myopic on one given topic, we're never going to find out that you have a pattern of rejecting the common because you find it fun. And you're also
telling the man to fuck off is fun, even if all the man is saying is that the sky is blue.
And you finding it fun is sometimes not the explanation. Sometimes it's like, my brain is forcing me to.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
I can understand that.
But it doesn't change the fact that, like, there's a larger narrative we can tell from your other beliefs that has nothing to do with this individual one or arguing it down.
Now, we have had this big old talk, but man, Woolie, I bet you're going to feel really stupid when the world ends up being super flat.
I mean, I will absolutely revel in that. That'll be amazing. I can't wait. Like, yeah, the reverse Galileo.
Oh, that'd be fucking nuts. Here's footage of a guy driving his boat off the side of the earth. I'm like, wow, okay. Living in a brave new world here.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like, we are the ones. We are the people that are burning the round earthers at the stake, you know? And poor Mark Sargent's mom just being nice and supportive and wholesome the whole time. And watch it. It's a good time. Watch it. But yeah, there's something there, you know, and you got to listen to your. Are you familiar with Eddie Bravo?
I'm not familiar now.
Okay, well, he's one of those guys where it's just like, whatever it is, as long as it's anti-establishment, sounds good. Let's take it.
Let's fight the power, man.
Right, and if someone brings a new thing to you that no one's ever talked about, if 4chan invents one that you know what I mean, a brand new conspiracy, and it sounds like, yeah, I don't know the answer to that, it's in.
Yeah.
And we're automatically looking into it and possibly considering it, and the seed has been planted. And that's all it takes. Now that's a real mind goblin.
Yeah.
Because that's when you can incept that into someone else by bringing up
the strongest mind goblins are the transferable ones.
Fluoride in the water. You know,
there is fluoride in the water.
Yes, but what it does to you, and
supposedly good for your teeth,
and so makes you subservient and fucking kills your sperm and whatever. You know. Anyway,